Oh, hey, folks. We're live. This is Frank Trades with Dex. This is Frank. I'm here with my main man, Dex. How you doing, Dex?
What up? It's Dex, aka the Vulcan, aka the Algo Capitalist.
Indeed. And we just had, we have almost breaking news. Mueller's about to speak. You were just telling me about that. And it could have a pretty serious impact on the market today.
Correct. The U.S. stock indexes are already down sharply this morning. And if Mueller says something devastating that people don't expect, it could cause the markets to absolutely fall out of bed, roll over, fall off the cliff, and just lose it.
Okay.
So I think that's what the worry is this morning. That is he going to say something that's going to jolt the markets, which are already weak? And not only that, but Bitcoin futures just turned negative as well.
Okay.
And he's due to speak now any moment.
Very interesting. Okay, so we'll keep half an eye on that. Here, I'm going to share my my screen so we could talk about charts. So this, for those of you who are new, this is Frank Trades with Dex, where me, a trading novice, trades with the expert, the Vulcan, the Algo Capitalist himself, Dex. And really, most important thing we're here to do is answer questions for people who are in our room, which is currently found at watchustrade.io for a few more days. I keep teasing everybody. I promise those of you who feel tricked, I really thought we would launch our new site last week. Watchustrade.io for now. So wait, I gotta make my screen steady so that it's just sharing. Let's see.
But it is no trick, it is no joke that things will be a changing.
Yeah,
and prices will go with it.
Yeah, so you know, I've been telling people join now to lock in current prices, and I feel a little bad because I gave out a lot of urgency about it last week because we really thought we were going to change the price last week. So not trying to trick anybody. We really are hoping this week, next week at the latest, God willing, we'll launch the new site with the new pricing. So those of you who are rushing in, you're locking in, at least for the foreseeable future, you're locking in the current price, which is essentially on sale. And you know, all our old specials are off. There's no sales right now. There's no buy one get one. You know, people are finding like 8-month-old emails and saying, you know, is it still on? It's like, no, man. that sale is over.
I dig it.
No offense to anybody. We're glad to have you, you know. But yeah, those sales are over. So right now it's just current pricing, monthly subscription at that. So we're looking at BitTorrent right now, because I'm the one in charge of the screen, and so I want to talk about BitTorrent. So this is the weekly chart, Dex. There's not a ton here to go on. Here's the daily, and obviously this has had a parabolic. I think you would say parabolic move, right? I don't want to use that too loosely. Little pullback in the last on the daily candle. You can see it pulled back all the way to 16. It's not 16 cents. It's 0.0016, and currently around 17.3. And then this is the 4 hour. I don't know. You got any thoughts on this? I know there's not much to look at on this other than the big move.
Pull up your weekly first. Let's start there.
Here's a cloud on the daily. It's trading in the cloud, or on the hourly. It's trading in the.
Nah, I need to see the weekly first.
I know you do. Here, this is all that's there.
Okay, that's more than enough. All right, now take me to the daily. All right, and let's see here. Take me to the 4 hour. And here comes Mueller and the mark. Ooh, the Dow. The Dow just jumped 30 points.
Higher?
Up and down. Low. Yeah, it jumped higher. And then it went back low. Yo, he didn't open his mouth yet. But
are we looking at the DIA? What do you want me to look at for the Dow?
Hold on. With the Dow, just do YM, because that's the Dow futures. Man, these markets are already starting to do a little something. He's talking now. He just came on just this moment. As soon as he took the mic, the Dow jumped up 30 points. It was an instantaneous move. Haven't seen jumps and skips like that in a while. Normally, and this brings up a teachable moment, jumps and skips in price action, especially the futures, is normally a bad bad sign? When the market freezes, or when there jumps and skips?
Sorry to interrupt. Is this chart good? It gave me
Yep, that's it. That's it.
Hey, everybody can hear me, right? I'm freaked out ever since the other day when I was muted for the first 2 minutes of the show.
I hear you loud and clear, my man.
All right, cool.
Okay, so yeah, you can see this thing is looking like it wants to fall out of bed on the weekly chart.
Yeah.
All right. And that means we're gaining momentum, downside momentum. It just took out the previous pointer. See that green pointer? We just took that out. Market is falling, getting closer toward the bottom of the Kumo cloud. And the Dow is threatening to fall through that support floor like a hot knife through butter.
Wow.
If this continues, we're looking at 24,000 in a jiffy.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, that's 1,000-point jump.
And your anticipation, I was distracted with trying to figure out how to use YouTube Live here. Your anticipation is Mueller speaks, and it's probably going to be bad.
Well, if he says something bad, it's going to cause this Dow to definitely fall through this Kumo cloud.
Do we? And this question's for you cats in the comments as well. Do we have any indication? Is there any speculation about what he's going to talk about?
All right. Well, like right now it says, okay, he just said we are formally closing special counsel office.
Okay.
That's bullish for the market.
That's got to be bullish.
That's why the market jumped up 30 points. Okay.
Okay. They're going to hate that, man. The libs are going to lose their minds.
What did I say, though, about the whole Trump market? What did I say? I said that every time the market takes a downturn or especially a sharp one, somebody comes out with a press conference, usually it's Trump, and they stave off a disaster. I've lost count how many times this has happened in the last 2 weeks. So he just averted a disaster so far. Let's see if how the market's going to take it. We're off the lows of the session now. Let's see what's up. So far, the market likes it. He also said we are not commenting on guilt or innocence of defendants.
Jerk. Wow. He's got to throw that in, or else CNN won't have anything to talk about for the rest of the year.
Yeah, so
he's got to leave it vague, or they will have nothing to report on.
Yeah, I'm going to say that this is bullish for the market in that whatever sell-off we see today shouldn't be as severe, perhaps. I'm still, full disclosure, I'm still short on the U.S. stock indexes, on the Russell. So okay, I'm going to hold that position.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good time to update that, Dex. Yesterday on our show, you were basically saying to the room that you were waiting.
Yeah, I wanted to wait yesterday. Normally, what you want to do on major holidays when the equity market is closed, you want to wait for the next trading session to end before you get in the market, because normally you have these like Tuesday reversals the day after a holiday, whatever, and the market will give back whatever it did on that holiday or what have you. So in this was that perfect example. So I waited until this morning before I took a short position in the Russell as per the PulseWave price triggers, which were violated this morning, meaning that all the criteria was met for taking a short position.
Yeah.
And I did not go full position. This is something I'm going to leg into. I want to continue to leg into it as the downtrend develops, as the correction sharpens. I would like to participate in that, so I'm legging it in. And the details of that is in the trading room under the weekly update.
Yeah, and I always like to say, for those of you who don't know what the PulseWave price triggers is, that's our main thing that we do. Dex developed an algorithm years ago and has been perfecting it ever since, that predicts moves in the market. But those moves in the market are always confirmed by price action. And so we trade a little differently than a lot of rooms do. We don't take a position and hope it works out. We look for it to hit a specific price where our stop orders are already placed and waiting. And that's the really cool thing about it. People are always asking me, you know, I want to trade with Dex, but what kind of time commitment does it require? And we say it really depends on what you're looking to do and the style that you want to adapt. So you can adapt the PulseWave price triggers to your style, to the time commitment that you want to have. But realistically, you could take the price triggers that come out at night and place your orders first thing in the morning before the market's open, or before you go to bed, whatever you want to do. And then the trade will be confirmed if it hits that price, and your order will fill. And so it's really a great way to trade. And then you have your stop losses in place, and you already know what your risk is, and so on. So that's what he's talking about when he says those price triggers are violated, meaning that the trigger went off, and so we're in the trade.
Along with certain market parameters and conditions that were met in association with that. And speaking, check this out. Mueller has just said that the president cannot be charged with a crime while in office. That is extremely bullish. He's trying to blow up my short position. Thanks a lot, Mr. Mueller.
Sure.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, but we're still holding, though.
He figures if he can't take out Trump, he'll try to take out Dex.
Exactly. They're coming for me, man. They're coming for me.
You're his consolation prize. He's like, this guy's been dogging me for years with his predictions.
I know, right? He wants to get even with me.
Wants to get even with you.
Yeah, so we'll see. I used a tight stop on this one too.
All right,
so we'll see how it goes. You know, this is what you want to do, folks. Whenever there is pending information in a market that could change the overall pictures, all right, regardless of, you know, what kind of methodology you're using, you never want to just go in just, you know, all in. You want to leg in. You want to, you know, limit risk, minimize risk by legging into your positions. You don't just go full position.
Right.
You want to leg in. You want to build a position over time, if possible. And that's what we did here on this one.
Yeah, Nathan had a good question in comments. He said the trade in the Russell has gaps. Are you worried about that? Gap in the chart. That's the QQQ, isn't it? Or did I get
No, that's the NASDAQ 100. As far as the Russell, go ahead and pull up IWM.
I knew it was IWM.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you want the daily?
Yeah, we can do the daily. Yeah, these are the gaps he's talking about.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
All right, so let's examine this chart for a moment. Okay, so we got some gaps that have been closed. Okay, so this current gap has not been closed. If anything, make that chart bigger again. If anything, the market can correct itself back up toward the 150 handle, which, you know, is possible, but I think all that would do is set up for the next leg down. So I am not that concerned with that. Pull up the weekly real quick on this one.
There you go.
All right. So on the weekly, a little bit smoother. You can see here where this market is in free fall. It's in full-blown correction mode, and we don't see support on the weekly until we get down to 144 on this particular one. All right, and it looks like the market is not ready to start putting in a bottom just yet. We just took out the previous pointer, and the market seems to be picking up some steam on the downside.
Could all this get murdered by Mueller's news, though?
Nah, I think we've already done it. The market now is down to
already, huh? It moves that quick.
Yeah, he said the president cannot be charged with a federal crime while in office, and that they're not going to comment on guilt or innocence, and they're closing the investigation.
Yeah.
But the U.S. stock market is still down. It jumped off the lows when he was talking. Now it looks like it's headed right back to where it was again. It's falling. Its prices are falling on the futures again.
And that wording just sounds like I want to give CNN something to talk about for the next 12 months. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, he said that they chose their words carefully and that the report speaks for itself. Pull up TWM. That's the inverse ETF for this Russell. TWM, and do the weekly.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Futures just got worse. Futures are now threatening to take out this morning's lows. All right, so here's a weekly. This is the TWM. Full disclosure, this is the security that I bought this morning to get short the Russell. It's an inverse ETF, meaning if you buy this ETF, you're expecting prices in the Russell to decline. You can see we're coming up on rampage as this market on the weekly is trying to break out of the Kumo cloud and go topside. All right, that rampage that you're looking at is pretty substantial. Looks like it could take this thing over the $19 range here in the short term.
Mm.
All right, so that's my initial target is $19 on this one. Go ahead and pull up that daily. Switch over to the daily on it. All right, on the daily, you can see where the market has gapped. Okay, and we back and filled once, and now we have another gap here to contend with, which means we could pull back toward maybe 1625 or something, and still be good to go. I don't see the market getting lower than that 1620 handle, but you never know.
So you're thinking 19 on this?
Yeah, I think we could at least hit 19.
What time frame?
In the short term.
Really?
Probably within the next I want to say 3 to 5 weeks. Tops.
Wow. Crazy.
Yep.
All right, cool. Hey, anything else specific you want to look at before we start taking more questions?
No, I'm good with that. That's the main thing.
What was that? Was that a sneeze?
No, that was me.
God bless you.
My hand hit the
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Good question here from Gypsy Tree. Still seeing a gold breakout this year. Any gold miners we should be looking at? Sector. Sorry, my print is really small on this one screen. It's got to pump someday, right? So, any thoughts about gold breakout and miners?
What I want to say about gold and gold miners is that I'm not going to talk about the guilt or innocence of gold and gold miners, and that I'm choosing my words carefully, and that the PulseWave Price Trigger report speaks for itself.
That's cold, man. That's cold.
I know it's corny, but hey, I couldn't resist.
I said cold. It's cold.
Isn't it?
Do you still
frozen corn?
Do you see a breakout this year still coming?
On the advice of my attorney, I cannot comment on that subject. No, for real. As far as gold is concerned, it's really nothing's changed. Go ahead and pull up GC. See if that comes up for you.
Man, I would think I would have all your favorite charts in here by now in my list.
You know, GC is the gold futures. Yep, there you go. That's it. Pull it.
It gives me options, so I just go with the first one that comes up.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. All right.
Daily.
Okay, so you can see in the daily that we are in a bear market. All right, you can see that price and trend lines are below the Kumo cloud. Switch to the weekly now. All right, this is the chart that gives people hope.
Mm-hmm.
It is in a bull market on the weekly. Price and trend line is above the Kumo cloud. However, we've been in full-blown correction now for several weeks. There is an argument that can be made that the top of the Kumo cloud is acting as strong support at the moment, okay? As long as prices stay above that 1270 mark and don't close below 1270 on this weekly chart, we should be good to go. 1270 is your support, and it's your alarm right now. If prices close below that on the weekly, that means that the correction is further accelerating, taking you deeper into the Kumo cloud of death, but then it threatens at that point based on momentum. It looks like it could actually cut right through that cloud.
Yeah.
And then we will be looking at sub 1220.
Yeah, and if you really want to follow, I mean, Dex was half joking, but I mean, if you really want to follow, you do need those pulse waves, because you're going to get those signals every week. Yeah. And you're going to get detailed information about what's going on with them. So
PulseWaves tell you a lot more than what you can see looking at this chart.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to mention, well, anyway. So, all right, cool. Let's look at some more questions in here. Let's see. I got to put this on a different.
Oh, wow. New lows in the stock indexes. New lows. The Dow just hit a new low. We're down 250 in the Dow now on the future.
Wow.
down almost 80 points in the NASDAQ 100 futures.
Let's see here. Well, let's look at some of the chart requests that we got. So I got a couple of cryptos to start off with.
All right, throw it up.
People love those cryptos, as do I. So we got like Litecoin. I love this Litecoin chart, how it's about to hit this tsunami cloud.
Yeah, this one looks really, 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 really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so technically speaking, looking at the chart, this is a weekly chart. You are bullish on the weekly chart, right? As far as your momentum and how the market's been riding up, but you got a cloud coming up. Once you enter into the cumulative cloud of death, you can expect some sort of.
This is the Coinbase dollar version.
Okay,
which
it's
already in it. Yeah, it has probably has more data on it than the other one I'd expect.
Yeah, it's bullish in the cloud. All right, it's bullish in the cloud.
Yeah.
But you are in the cumulative cloud of death, and you know what I say about that. Anything goes in the cumulative cloud of death. As long as price is in there, anything can happen.
Very similar to the Bitcoin chart right now.
Yeah, prices tend to run to the top and bottom of the range in these cumulative clouds, and they can even spike topside and spike below the cloud on an intraday basis, just running people stops. So be very, very, very careful when you're inside of the cumulative cloud. Use your stops correctly and never give back your gains. All right. Protect your gains in this particular market. Don't be greedy, but also protect your gains. Yeah. And the way to do that is you can use the recommended initial stops on the sheet, or you can 2-bar Charlie your way to victory. So those are your two choices.
Yeah, 2-bar Charlie is a method we use inside the room for setting stops. It's extremely effective and flexible based on what your particular goals are with that trade. So really, really cool tool. Yep. And if you're in the room, watch our 2-bar Charlie video a couple times. It's very, very helpful. There's something like 8 different options for how you can structure it. And they range on a continuum from wanting to stay in the trade and wanting to lock in profit. And that's really how you got to make your decisions. So
correct. And if you're well, no, never mind. That has nothing to do with what we're talking
about. now I'm dying to know. All right, next one, and this is going to be a very similar looking chart, is our friend Bitcoin. So let me find the best Bitcoin one here. Let's see, is this the Coinbase Bitcoin? There we go. Here's Bitcoin on Coinbase.
Still strong. Still no correction.
Very strong. Little negative today, but hardly at all. I mean, look at it.
Yeah. All that looks.
Oh, this is the weekly. Actually, this is the weekly. My bad.
Yeah, but still, all it looks like is more bullishness. The week's not over with yet. All I can say is that what I'm always going to say. It's in a powerful uptrend on the daily market. The weekly is inside the cumulative cloud, so you have to be a little skeptical there. Just like I always say, please use stops. Use them wisely. Protect your gains. Do not give back all your gains. Do not give back all of your gains. Do not give back all of your gains. Do not turn a winning trade into a losing trade.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is do not turn a winning trade into a losing trade.
Absolutely.
Do not give back all of your gains. I could go on. I could say more.
You could say more.
All right. Do not give back all of your gains. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Could you elaborate? Could you elaborate?
Yeah, I can elaborate. Do not
listen.
Give back your gains.
We got a lot of.
You can't give nothing back.
We got a lot of recovering hodlers in our crypto. Our friends in crypto, and I'm raising my hand with that. When you see a crypto go up, you're like, oh man, last time I got out, it went up on me, and you get all crazy. And it's like, listen, things retrace. You get new entries. This happened to me the other day with BTT. That's kind of I decided in the weekend to hang in it, kind of for fun. Yeah. And the gains were ridiculous. Probably the best trade I ever made in my entire life, to be honest with you. And man, I didn't want to set a stop loss on it. I was like, oh, I don't want to set a stop. And I did, and I actually maintained and improved upon the trade by using 2-bar Charlie, and that was an off-sheet trade that for once an off-sheet trade worked out.
Right.
But and by off-sheet I mean it wasn't in the PulseWaves, but worked out really, really, really well. And man, I was like, I'm just gonna hold this forever. but I heard Dex in my ear, figuratively speaking, saying, "Put a stop loss on it, you idiot. You can get back in. There's going to be a retracement. Things don't just go up. Things don't just go up forever." And that's what I did, and I was able to actually get my hodl, get out at a high and get back in for some more movements. So that was cool.
As of right now, everything's looking okay for right now. It's still bullish. It still has that bullish complexion.
You're talking about Bitcoin?
Yeah, you just have to be careful because right now I don't see a significant correction if the market was to start correcting today. If it started today, then you got out of the chart. I was going to say something.
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, you need to go back.
Which one was it? Like Bitcoin?
Bitcoin.
My bad.
You're moving too fast. You're moving faster than my brain.
Sorry, man. Well,
okay, the Dow just broke below 26,000. We are down almost 300 points, closing in fast.
And that's where you were positioned, right? You were positioned short, right?
No, I took a short in the Russell. I got long the TWM. Okay. All right. So as I was saying on this Bitcoin chart, if it does correct, let's say it started correcting this week. Right now, you have support around the 75.30 level on the weekly chart. All right, so make a note of that if you want to write it down.
What was that?
75.30 is your initial support. You don't want to see the market close below that. If it does, then it's threatening to end the run and trade back toward the bottom of the Kumo cloud. The bottom of the Kumo cloud at this point is around, I want to say 52.50. 52.50.
52.50?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool. What's this question from Gypsy Tree here? I see my screens are too far away from me. I can't read.
I can see it. I got it. All right, here's another one. Yep. All right, still seeing a gold breakout this year. Any gold?
No, wait, we're way past that. No, this is way the bottom comment. What about the argument that BTC is like no other asset class before? Look how it ripped through 62 resistance. Everyone was sure it would hold. Yeah, what about, I mean, it's proven to be something that you can chart, right?
Yeah. Let me say this. And everyone feels this way about their favorite thing. Okay.
Yeah.
It's still an asset.
Yeah.
Cryptos, I don't care what the Federal Reserve says, cryptos are an asset. They're an asset class. They're tradable instruments. Therefore, they're going to behave like regular market instruments. Bitcoin is no different. That's why there's a futures contract on it. I think, like I said, that Bitcoin is in a nice retracement right now. But like I said, it's probably going to give out somewhere between 11 and 12,000. All right. And that would bring us to probably a 62% retracement on the Fibonacci. And then that would probably, be the line in the sand. Is the market going to, continue to run and build a new bull market? Or is it going to top out and start the next leg down? That's the question that we don't have the answer to yet. I can only tell you based on what's happening in the market where these price inflection points will be.
Yeah.
And the price inflection points haven't changed from when I first told you where it was going to be going. It has reached the first initial goal, hitting that 8,000 mark. The next one is going to be, like I said, between 10 and 11,000, somewhere around there. That's going to be your next very important price inflection point. So we'll see what happens. That could even get it outside of the Kumo cloud. But then you're going to have vortex dangers outside of the cloud sometime in August. That's when the vortex starts. Somewhere between the beginning of July running into August, you're going to hit these vortex pockets, which act as a staircase to the downside, pulling prices down. And we could get down severely. Yeah, you could see 5,000 again if the market cannot remain topside of the Kumo cloud as we get into the end of July, the beginning of August. All right, so there is a strong possibility as we get out toward November that we could start to see more rampage to the bull side of the stage, or at least a second leg rally, another leg beginning of another rally.
Or
so we'll see.
It could just go nuts too, right? I mean, it could just break through and keep going.
No, I don't think that anything that I've said to you about Bitcoin is priced in right now.
Okay.
As far as the future is concerned, the old adage that everything that can be known that is currently known about an asset is already factored into the price still holds true to this day. But the prognostications that I'm giving you into the near future is not factored into the price.
Okay.
Because most people don't know what I just told you.
Word. All right, cool. Let's look at, we are running out of time because we're supposed to go on with V. So let's look at XRP really quick.
Okay.
So don't want to rush you, but I'm going to rush you. So give us a quick take. Here's XRP. This is Ripple, right?
All right. It looks like Bitcoin a little bit. No, you still got, okay.
No. Look at the live one.
Oh, I had to remember that. Keep flipping between the tabs.
You know what I do? I always pause the YouTube version of our live video.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise it distracts me and I'm confused about where we are.
Oh, I mute the sound, but I keep it. I look at it for the questions.
Yeah, no.
I gotta remind myself to go back.
What I do here, I'll show you what I do. Look, I pause it. As soon as it starts, I pause it and mute it, and then I just look at the chat. And that way, and then on another screen, I have whatever I'm sharing.
So the chat will always update even though you pause the video?
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can pause the video and the chat will be cool.
Okay, cool. That's what I'll do then.
Yeah, that's why you're getting distracted.
Yeah.
And then, well, I have a laptop and then 2 screens. So I actually have all 3. I have our live.
I have a laptop and 2 screens too. Are you watching me?
Two bald men with their identical setups.
I know, right? Oh, and the Dow just broke that 300 mark, folks. The Dow is down 314 points on the futures. It is looking wild.
Wow, man.
Also, now we're still going on with V today, right?
That's the plan.
Because I have a huge announcement to make.
Yeah, folks, make sure you get ready to join us. We're going to be, as soon as we're off here, we're going to go on Rogue News. In fact, I'm going to tell V that we're wrapping up now so that he gets ready.
I'm saving this announcement, man, for that. So, okay, here we go. So XRP right now, looking at this weekly chart, you can see it is in a nice little dead cat bounce off of the bear market lows. It's still in a full-blown bear market. It's trying to build upon this retracement, but it's having a big problem at the 48 level. 48 seems to be strong resistance, but you also have a pointer. All right. So the power of the pointer should have enough energy to put prices into the Kumo cloud and get us up to about 50. So I see 50 in the near future for XRP.
Okay. Last one, Monero. Someone remind me the symbol. Is it X? I want to say XLM, but that's not right. That's. Come on, chat. I know one of you in the chat know the symbol for Monero.
It's not X something.
It is X something. I just can't remember what it is. LM, not XLM. That's.
Wait a minute. I'll pull it up. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Let me help a Bubba out.
It's an X one.
I got
XMR. Thank you, Nathan.
You beat me to it. No fair.
Nathan has my back. I appreciate it, man. Let me see. I want to find a good one here. Here's Binance Tether. So we'll do it against Tether on Binance. That's not a good chart. There's not enough info. Let me see.
I can still work with that chart.
I know. Let me try Kraken. Let's see if the Kraken one is better.
Release the Kraken.
There we go. The Kraken one's got a lot more.
All right. It's already at resistance. It's bumping its head right there.
Yeah, look at that.
At the bottom of that Kumo cloud.
Man, so many cryptos running into that big cloud on the weekly. It's wild.
Yeah, man. That weekly cloud is a beast. Right now, you are at vortex zone. So this one is in jeopardy of pulling back to 60 if it can't get deep inside that cloud. So here's this one. You got that pointer to help garner the momentum, get it above 100. If we can get a couple of closes above 100, that could help build momentum to the top side. But you are in jeopardy right now, pulling back to at least 85. So keep that in mind on the weekly. So I'm bullish. I'm bullish on it as far as momentum. Let's see if it can gather enough momentum to get it above 100. If it cannot, and I'll give it another week. It doesn't have to do it this week, but it's the clock is ticking.
Here's a daily.
It needs to do it within the next week. Now, daily doesn't tell me anything. It needs to do it within the next week. So you get one more weekly bar to accomplish this 100. If it cannot, it's in jeopardy of falling significantly, precipitously, first to 80, then the next support is around 60.
All right, last question. I liked it. Gypsy Tree has some good ones today. Dex, would you sell? This is good. Would you sell physical silver for Bitcoin today?
Oh,
I love that question.
Very good question.
I'll tell you this: the last time I sold physical silver to buy something, this was a long time ago. It was to buy Litecoin, and it paid off massively. But that was a long time ago. That was a different market. All
right, here's what I'm going to say. From a trading perspective, not an investment perspective. From a trading perspective, I would say yes, because what you like to do is you like to cut your losers when you're trading and then pour more money into the winners, all right, the ones that are winning. In this case, Bitcoin is winning against silver. All right.
Of course, they're talking physical, so it's not exactly clicks. They're talking.
Yeah, I know.
They're talking going down to the coin shop.
I know what they're saying. I want to approach it from a trading perspective first.
Okay.
All right. So. Okay. So. All right.
I don't know why this is making me laugh the way you're talking about.
This is an incredibly good question.
It really is.
Okay. So normally, what I would say to people who are thinking about cashing in their physical, I would say, is it possible for you to get long the paper and then take that money and use that to get into Bitcoin? Now, for those of you who don't understand what getting long the paper means going in and trading the paper market. So let's say silver price was in a straight up bear market and hitting new lows every week. You would get long. Getting long the paper means you would buy the inverse ETF to take advantage of the declining prices in the silver, or you just flat out.
Okay. So you would go
short the physical futures market.
Okay, cool.
All right. So
all right.
That's,
so you would do
like first thing.
You would just go short the silver paper.
Yeah, that's the first thing. That's the first thought. If it was possible for you to get long the paper, then that's what I would do.
Long the paper.
Getting long the paper means you're going to go in and get long the paper market. You're going to buy the paper. You're going to buy the inverse ETF on that silver futures market, as opposed to just going in and shorting the futures. You can do either one. It doesn't matter. All right. So that's your first option. Second option, we call this the hot option, meaning that the market is hot. You don't want to miss another leg up. You don't mind going and selling your physical. In this situation, I would say it makes sense from a trading perspective, only because Bitcoin has been on fire and silver has not. So from a trading perspective, it makes sense. Yes, it makes sense.
All right. That's all we got time for today, folks. Sorry, Dex. Hey, guys, thanks so much for joining us and giving us, helping us move this along in the comments. It's really helpful. This is our plan. Okay, this is our plan. And by plan, I mean that this is obviously flexible. But what we're looking to do is every day around 10:30, we're going to come on. Our first priority is to answer questions for people who are actually in our room, currently called Watch Us Trade at watchustrade.io. Getting ready to change that very, very soon. And so, by the way, me and Dex are using the comments. So I try to label myself as Frank, but I forget most of the time. So we would love to have you join us. We have something coming up Friday. Up on my screen right now, we have the PulseWave Trading for Beginners. This is a weekly webinar that we do. And this was a good one, so we're doing it again. And we're going to talk about everything you need to know to start riding the pulse waves with Watch Us Trade. And we're going to talk about what it takes to trade them every day, what it looks like. We'll actually show you what the PulseWave price trigger reports look like and how to use them a little bit. Tell you about what accounts need to set up. Keep in mind, we trade cryptos, Forex, futures, equities, the indexes. So we have those 5 reports that we put out every weeknight, Sunday through Thursday. We'll talk about the accounts that you need. You know, we'll talk about the capital requirements, and that's not our capital requirements. Those are the market's capital requirements. And for some of these, it's much lower than you would think. And more. You'll also be able to ask me questions. Obviously, you don't care what I have to say, but you can ask Dex questions. The Guerrilla is usually with us 99% of the time. And you can ask him questions. So it's a lot of fun. Friday afternoons, 1 p.m. Eastern. You must register, though. You'll get an email confirmation. The link is in the description. You'll come to this page. You give us your name, your email, and you'll get registered for that. So that's link is in the description. If you want to join the room right now, we would love to have you. WatchUsTrade.io. Now, as soon as we're done with this, and I mean, I already have the link. We're getting ready to jump on with the Guerrilla, and we're going to be on Rogue News, and Dex has some specific news that he's chomping at the bit to talk about.
Yep.
So we'll see you guys over there. Thanks again. WatchUsTrade.io. This has been Frank Trades with Dex, episode 24. We'll see you guys. Oh, I started to say the schedule. Our schedule is going to be 10:30-ish. Me and Dex are going to come on for this, where we try to help our room out. And then around 11, we're going to do the Daily 10, which is our market. I forget what we call it. It's something cool. Market snapshot or something like that. And so those are the 2 shows we're looking to do every day, one on here and one on Rogue. So make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you folks very soon. Thanks so much for joining us. We are over.